True Warrior Football. True Warrior Football. True Warrior Football.
You are listening to True Warrior Football Podcast with your host, Corey Kid Smith.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm your host, Corey Kid Smith. And man, it feels great to be back. It's playoff time. Our guys, you know what? This is the time where legends are made. I talk about it all the time. I love our guys. The greats, truly great players in our program's history made their names in October and November. Playoff time. What you did in the regular season was great. What did you do in the playoffs? Now is the time where we truly separate the boys from the men. Who is going to assert themselves as a great player and sit all that other nonsense, BS, put all that aside? Who is going to be great? Now's the time where we find out. Before I can get to that, before I can get to our playoff run that I hope we do go on, had to talk about our last game, how we ended the season. And, you know, we went on the road to face a Christian Brothers college, academy, high school. I don't know why they call it college. It's clearly a high school. Clearly a high school. And we went there, a 4-hour drive, was an interesting one. We were going to stop in some school in Illinois and do a walkthrough, traffic killed all that. So we get there, and it's probably about an hour and a half before kickoff, maybe a little bit sooner or later. It was just a really interesting and weird environment, truly. They have a stadium, and I'll put the highlights up of it right here, but their stadium is just one side stands, okay? Those stands on the home side, of course, but then they don't have the scoreboard was right behind us. That was weird. Hadn't seen or ain't dealt with anything like that before. Another thing I thought was fairly strange was, you know, it was a game where there was a good crowd, but it was way too quiet behind us. And I said to the players, it's like having a game at practice. You know, it was just really weird. The vibe wasn't right for me. It was just a really just off feeling about the entire night. And besides that, the drive was long. We come into the game. We didn't have JoJo. My man Tank Davis, AD, was out because of incident that he had last week. He's doing better. He's okay, but he was out for this game as well. So right there, defensive secondary is missing 2 guys, 2 starters. Offense played good to start. We come down, we drive the ball, and we get a great KJ2 man, putting the ball in the right areas, got the ball to Day-Day, and Day-Day really, I think this is probably Day-Day's best game he's had for us overall this season for sure, maybe in the last 2 years. He was doing some really great things, got the ball in his hands, and he made some great moves, scored a touchdown. Great. Absolutely amazing drive. And we ended up getting our 2-point conversion. Lee Alexander got in there once again, probably like the 5th or 6th time he's gotten in on that play. And we're up 8-0. We're up 8-0. Great job. Let's go. Great way to start the game off. And then they kicked the ball. We kicked the ball to them. We got them pinned. I want to say it's like 3rd and 2, or maybe it was 4th down. It was late, and for some reason, I don't know how, we missed a tackle, and what was sure enough going to be a stop, forcing them to punt, ends up being a long 60, 70-yard touchdown run. All right, and then they score a touchdown. The lights are flickering on and off. It's like the Exorcist, Poltergeist. It was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. They should stop that. Okay, it's going to cause somebody to have a seizure. But yeah, that's that. Go down, get the ball again. Offense, we weren't able to do anything. Punt. They get the ball again, and another play where we're right there for a stop. Ends up being a long bomb. And really, from that point, that's what it was. For us in the first half, I think we gave up, I think defense may have had 1 stop in the first half. I think they scored on their first 4 or 5 drives. We held them to a field goal once, got a stop, and then I think we either got another stop before half, or got our first stop right before half, or we got a stop, they got the ball back and got a touchdown after that. It was, look, the game is so far out of my mind. At the end of it, I was ready for us to get back on the buses and come home. I wanted us, it's great playing these teams out of state, but playing these teams out of state at the end of the season, having to go 3-4 hours to their place is not it. That's not it. So hopefully, if we play them again, we can play them early in the year, and of course it'll be at our place, because I don't want to make that drive again. I don't have to do that drive at the end of the regular season as well. We get no benefit out of it. We really don't get any benefit out of it. So that's that. But Day had another great touchdown run of his. Joe Walker probably had, I don't know if it's his best touchdown of the season. It may have been his best catch. And yeah, you know what, I will say it was his best touchdown catch of the season. What he did, this was like a Randy Moss style touchdown. ESPN should have been putting that play on their highlights that they do on Sunday mornings. That should make it. That play right there should make it. He just, whoop. All right, I'm gonna walk in. 2 guys fell down right there. And really, the second half of that game, we fought better. We still weren't able to cut the lead closer to what we needed. I want to say we cut it to like 14 with that Joe Walker touchdown. We just couldn't get any closer with that. Yeah, it was not the best of nights for us. All right, ended up losing 52-25, 27-point defeat. Not something I'm happy about, but once again, out-of-state team, one of the better. I don't know if they're truly the best team we face. Of course, we face a good Carmel team, good Center Grove team, a good Ben Davis team, a very talented Lawrence North and LC King, of course. I mean, we've faced a lot of really good and really talented teams this year. But we're 4-5. We've struggled against teams that were good. But, like I said before, all that is done. We throw that game out the window. We're not going to see those guys again. They ain't got to worry about it. What we have to worry about is what's coming up for our team this Friday night. And really, I don't even need to talk about individual players for Southport. Guys, they are 0-9. And besides being 0-9, I don't, look, I've said before on this show many, many times before, we are a team with higher aspirations. We wanted to be the Kings of the East Side. We lost to both Lawrence schools. We wanted to be the Kings of the city. We lost to Ben Davis. But you know what? I've said this time and time again, said to the players, our aspiration is to be the Kings of the state. And to be the Kings of the state starts right here, right now. That's it. It starts right here, right now. And we have to go over to Southport, a team that hasn't won a game all season, and take care of business. We got to go over there and take care of business like we did against Pike, like we did against North Central. Teams that aren't on our level, we have to remind them they aren't on our level. We have to remind them each and every single time we step on the field with them. And I truly feel like our team is moving in a great spot. It is going to build upon everything that we've experienced. Everything we've learned is just this season is one big old lesson. We're going to apply those lessons in the postseason, in the real season. Like I said, this is a time where legends are made. This is a time where, you know what, guys will say, man, I remembered that game. You caught that pass. You made that interception and won the game. Man, I love what you guys did back there, man. You guys had that great stop, kept them out, got us to state. This is the time. This is a time where players step up that want to be great, that want to have their names remembered. And it's just not seniors, sophomores, juniors. I could tell you so many guys' names that have stepped up in big-time moments and made big-time plays when it was needed, when it was called upon them to come in and do so. And they made it happen. And this team is full of guys that are hungry and ready to make it happen. I'm telling you guys. I see it every time I'm around them. And if you saw what this team was capable of against Carmel, if you saw what this team was capable of against a team like King, what we can do when we are really competing and playing as one and doing it for 4 quarters, forget everybody else. Forget everybody else. Be worried about what's going on the Far East side. Be worried about what's going to happen when that team, the black and gold, steps into your place, or you got to come to theirs. Be worried. So it's going to be a very, very good ride. I'm looking forward to this upcoming Friday night against Southport. We're going to take care of business. We're going to take care of business, and that's all I got to say about that. And like I said, we've been off for 2 weeks. Gotta give you guys an update on our guys at the next level. guys like that new intro? First off, okay, I got to talk about these guys. They're undefeated, playing some truly phenomenal ball. Probably the number one team. They would have to be the number one team now since they beat the previous number one team in Ferris State. I'm talking about our guys at Grand Valley State. That is Therese Reed, Damon Wesley, and DeMarcus Brown. These guys right here, Grand Valley State is 8-0 right now. They have their big win, which is over Ferris State, which they won 22-21. In that game, Therese had 5 tackles, 2 of those being for a tackle for a loss. Damon had 4 tackles. Just a huge win for them, and it was at Ferris State. Big win on the road. They came back last week with a dominant 56-3 win over Northern Michigan. Therese had 2 tackles, a tackle for a loss, another pass breakup for him. Damon had 2 tackles as well. These guys are just flying all over the place for that defense, making great plays. Loving it. I love what you guys are doing. Continue to be great. I love you guys up there. They face off against Michigan Tech this week. 3-5. Michigan Tech is coming to the game. Hopefully it's another dominant victory for you guys. Continue to do well. Looking forward to talking about you guys next week. All right, going to our guys at Wabash. And Wabash, I've told you guys many times before, a lot of these schools coming in, whether they are NAIA, Division II, Division III, a lot of these other schools come into our place, you know, they'll get, a lot of our players get good looks. But one of the places I feel like doesn't get a lot of good looks from guys that should consider them is Wabash. All right? And I've told you guys this many times on this program before. If Wabash comes to you and they want you to be a part of their football program, hop on it. Hop on it like a plate of free wings and hotcakes, okay? Because Wabash is a school that has a great history of playing great football, and they've done really well for our guys. Isaac Avant is one of them. I've talked about him several times on the show in the past. And our guys, Derek Allen, Quinn Scholler, are doing some really great things right now. Some really great things. Like, first of all, they are on a 3-game winning streak right now, 4-1 in the conference. And in the 2 weeks that we've been off, they had a 41-24 victory over Ohio Wesleyan. And in that game, Derek had 7 catches for 98 yards and 1 touchdown. Last week against Oberlin, they decided to say, you know what, we just going to really turn up, okay? Derek, 5 catches, 140, 1 touchdown. His 1 touchdown was a 52-yarder. Incredible play from this man right here. They ended up beating Oberlin 66-20. Look, these guys right here are playing some very, very good football. They face off against Hiram College this week. Hiram's 1-6 coming in. Hey, take care of business, guys. Continue to do good things. You guys got a long way to go this season. I'm looking forward to talking about you guys some more. Keep it up. All right. Let's see here. Our guy Juju at Kansas State, and that was a weird game. If you didn't see Kansas State versus TCU this past Saturday night, shame on you. Very good game. I feel like Kansas State would have come out victorious in that game if their quarterback Taylor Martinez, who's been phenomenal in every game for them this year, if he would have been able to finish the first quarter, the first drive, and really continue to lead that team all game, I think they have another upset, another top 10 undefeated upset for them. But yeah, Kansas State, they took a tough one. Man, look, it was a tough one, and TCU is very talented. They lost 38-28. TCU is like 7-0, 8-0 now. They've had some big wins this year. Doing some really great things they are, but Juju in the game had 3 tackles, one and a half tackle for loss. So this week they come home to face off against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State, who comes into the game 6-1. They're playing some really good football right now as well. I think they just beat I think they just beat Texas. Yeah, they just beat Texas at home. Huge game for them. So it's going to be a huge game for Juju and those guys, man. But they're playing some really good football. They're still in contention to win the Big 12. They just got to, take care of business week to week. And really, loss against TCU is not a bad loss. The Tulane loss at first, and it probably still is for some people, a bad loss. But Tulane, 6-1, 7-1 right now, ranked team. It's not a bad loss right now when you look at it. So, hey, continue to do some great things out there, Juju. Let's see here. SIU, Southern Illinois. All right, and they had 2 games since we've been off, and Ramir has just been tearing it up for them, tearing it up. Their first game that they had while we were gone was a 30-7 victory over Western Illinois. In that game, Ramir had 66 yards rushing and 64 yards receiving. I believe he led both teams. He led team in rushing and receiving in that game. And then last week they took a hard loss, I should say. They lost against South Dakota. Not South Dakota State either. They lost to the regular South Dakota team on the road. They lost 27-24. Only got 3 points in the second half. Ended up losing on the field goal. Tough one. Ramir had 100 yards rushing on 16 carries. He also added 5 catches for 18 yards. Tough one for them. They moved to 5-3 now. They take on Northern Iowa, which is 4-4 this week at home. Hey, continue to do some great things out there, Ramir. I love that they're getting you the ball. Love you're healthy, and continue to pound it. We gotta get you some more touchdowns, man. They gotta feature the rock in more instances, man. I feel like everybody's getting touchdowns in that offense, but you sometimes, man. I feel like the quarterback gets like 3 or 4 touchdowns a game, something like that rushing. But hey, continue to do good work out there. Love what you're doing right here. And moving on. North Dakota State. My guy, Michael Tutsi. Tough one, man. Look, I was there last week. It was just a tough one, man, for me. Had to watch and sit and watch my Bears get embarrassed on Thursday Night TV against the Commanders. Thankfully, they made it up for it on Monday night against the Patriots. Then we made that long drive to St. Louis to face off against Christian Brothers. I just talked about that and how well that didn't go. Then I stayed in St. Louis and then flew up to Fargo that same morning or the next morning, and I was there for this one, and man, it was a great atmosphere. The crowd was going crazy. Tailgate was fun, and we ended up losing 23-21. Offense got no points in the second half. I hated that, man. Our offense is really good. I do not know what it is about North Dakota State when they play their little brothers, and it for what it is, it's just really crazy. And I think about it all the time, like, man, they've beaten so many great teams and done some really amazing things, but when it comes against those guys, they just got their number. They know how to play against them. I don't know what to say about it. But yeah, there was a tough one. Michael led the team in tackles. He had 9 tackles on the game. So they look to bounce back this week at home against Illinois State, who comes in with the same record at 5-2. Going to be a huge week for the Bison and Michael. They're still looking to get a high seed in the FCS playoffs. I feel like this team is right there. For some reason, they just still got to work into it. Maybe it's a little bit of wear and tear. Maybe it's because they don't have guys that went pro last year. Maybe it's just, tired from going long playoff run after long playoff run, especially having 2 seasons the previous year. Maybe it's a little bit of that. Who knows? But Michael, you guys keep doing some great things. I'm definitely going to be following you. Love being around you, seeing the family. Always love seeing Sarah too. She's so cute. And last but not least, I got to talk about our guy, David Bell. All right. The Browns have been a team that has struggled. Simply put, they've struggled this year. They lost 4 straight, In 3 of those games, they've lost by 3 points or less. And in some of those games, they've blown leads as well. It's just been tough. It's just been tough for David in the offense. So far this year, David has 7 catches for 73 yards. And this week, they face off against the Bengals, Joe Burrow and them. Come to them, at least. First matchup against them this season, that's a Monday Night Football game. So prime time, David Bell. We all know what David Bell does when the lights are on. All right. So David, step it up. I know you got it. Everybody's rooting for you. Everybody's supporting you here, man. You got it. Hey, you guys are going to turn that corner, man. I feel it. I've seen what you guys can do. You guys got a great running game. You guys got a you're right there in a lot of games. You're right there in a lot of games. So it's got to turn it up a little bit. So, hey, we'll definitely be cheering for you guys on Monday Night Football, your first prime time. No, I think it's the second prime time game they've had this year. They didn't have a Thursday nighter. But nobody really watches Thursday night. Monday Night Football is where it's at. So that's that. And yeah, that's all I got for you folks today. It's been an interesting time in Warrior Nation. But this is the time we all look forward to. You know, everything else we went through is all for moments like this. And this team right here is full of a lot of guys that were on that team last year that wanted to go on a deep run and ended up being one and done. They wanted to go on a deep run last year and ended up being one and done. Let that sink in. There have been many, many great teams that come through this program. Some teams don't get far. Others do. And it's up to this team, to these group of players, to these group of seniors, to step up and be the leaders, to lead this team to where they want to be. All the hopes and aspirations that this team has wanted, all the goals this team has put before them, now is really the time where you step up and do the things needed to reach and accomplish those goals. So, as I said before, are you going to step up and make yourself a legend? Or are you going to be one of those guys that say, man, we almost got it done? It's up to you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Corey the Kid Smith. Just watch and listen to another great episode of True Warrior Football. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to this show. Share it with all the rest of your friends out there. And hey, as always, Warrior Band, take us away.